All right, family. You live with the general, man. We back on. We got that fire today. We on the ancient science and wisdom, the esoterical, the hidden. Some things that you have to go to the depths of the mind to find is there. All you have to do is get the key and unlock the doors of consciousness and ancient wisdom. Today we're gonna be dealing with the Titans, the Nephilim, and the giants of ancient Egypt. Now, a lot of people, in the Bible, it speaks of the giants, okay, in ancient Egypt. A lot of people don't know that the Philistines were from Egypt. Did y'all know that? See, y'all rooted for David. You see, y'all rooted for David. But Goliath, the Philistine, was from one of Egypt's sons, Caphtorim. Okay. And so they went in and dwelt amongst uh the Canaanites. So there was because they were of the same bloodline, because they were of the same bloodline, the Canaanites and the Egyptians, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't as if they conquered them. They was laying there for them, and they were of the Hamitic bloodline or the Kemetic bloodline, and so they dwelt amongst the Canaanites. But matter of fact, where is that? Here we go. Here we go. I need these. Okay, I need these. Now, one of the children of also, ancient Egypt was the Anakim. The Anakim. See, we got to know these things because in the root of that, we're gonna break. You see the Kim. You see Anakim. Okay. Ki is Anakim. So you see Ana, which is Anu, which rooted in the primordial inhabitants of ancient Kemet. Also the Na, which is symbolic of the serpent. This is what you get a snake, Snake, Na. You see in Cam over there in Thailand, you got the fire knock. We talked about the fire knock. If you ain't tapped in, and see, that's the Naga. You see a serpent, but he got them look like rolls of fire on his back. They call him the fire knock over there in uh Thailand. You see, and so when you see the honor king, you also gonna see the root of the honor king in Anunnaki, the Anunnaki. You see, knock. See, they ain't breaking that shit down for y'all so that y'all will see that. Okay, you dealing with the serpent. That's the same serpent that's above the pineal gland. That's what it is. When you see the pharaohs with the serpent, because it's symbolic of the seat and the throne of God. You see, we talking about Ra. You see, so many times when you and I'm gonna show, I'm just getting warmed up. When you look on many of the crowns of the pharaohs, even over in the east, you will see it in the east too. I tried to show you this, and I'll show you again once I start to get my uh my uh my visuals together. I'm gonna start shooting in a day or two. I'm gonna have it right there for you. But I'm giving you indicators so you could go and see it for yourself. I'm not gonna leave you out there. I'm gonna draw you a picture that you can damn near go there and see. You'll always see the serpent coming down. They couldn't stop me. They couldn't stop me. I'm in the house. I'm in the house. I'm in the house. Just make sure it pop up. We good out there? Give me a thumbs up, Black Power out, and let me know everything good. I'm back. I'm black. Come on, black. Come on, black. If you miss it, that's on you. When you getting that knowledge, damn it, you got to tap in. You understand? You can't let a little hiccups like that deter you. You got to stay in there. You let a little something like that deter you, you gonna miss the whole damn boat. You good? I'm in the house. Good. All right, we're in the house. Good. So again, so what we talking about? We're talking about the serpent. The serpent is symbolic of the Christ consciousness. You see, the yeah, when you're dealing with the avatar means descent. Okay, he or she who descends, and they come with the Christ consciousness to wake up the people. They in such a state, you know what I'm saying? Disconnect that they have. The avatar got to come down and okay, we're in the house, and come down and resurrect the consciousness of the people. Okay, so you see that term knock in the Anunnaki, you see, and they keep talking, but they don't relate it to the serpent. You see, and the Anu are out of the Nile Valley. Okay, but you cannot compare Samaria to Egypt. That's what's fooling a lot of y'all out there. You see, yes, if you go by way of the these biblical, they're gonna always try to speak as if Sumeria is older than Egypt. If you don't understand Egypt, you don't understand nothing. Egypt is the blueprint for all esoterical knowledge, spiritual knowledge, all it. If you don't have an understanding of the Nile, you're not gonna understand that Mesopotamia, because it's a spinoff. You see, it's a spinoff. So even in the Bible, it speaks of the Anakim. You see, and again, that knock is also speaking of the serpent, the divine serpent. And I'll show you, and I have shown you where Yahweh was even depicted as a dragon. So the serpent and the dragon is one and the same. Is one and the same. So when we talking about the giant, that the sons of Kemet, the Rephaim, Rephim, Rephahim, Rephaim, were compared to the Nephilim. Okay, and again, we talking about descent. You talking about the watchers descended down on the planet. They were supposedly watchers over humanity, but it says that the Nephilim, or the watchers, had children with the daughters of men and created the Nephilim. Okay, and the Nephilim was depicted also as the children of ancient Egypt. They were compared to the children of ancient Egypt and the Canaanites. Okay, the children. This is where the giants was. Those, when you talking about the giants in the Bible, you speaking of the Hamites. The Hamites. Okay, now when you go off into Greek mythology, you also got the Titans. Okay, you also got the Titans. Now, the Titans was here before the Greek gods. That just show you that there's something before what you see. The Titans was here before the Greek gods. And it's actually the Titans who created man, woman, and gave them knowledge. It wasn't Zeus or none of them. They came later. You see, they came later. I believe it was Prometheus that created the first man and woman. I believe it was Prometheus. He was a Titan. There wasn't a god. These was the god. Now, what's critical about that, and when you start looking at, you guys, what they call Typhon. Okay, that's very critical that we Typhon. It was also Set. He was considered to be Set. And when they came in, when the Greeks came into Egypt, they compared Typhon to Set. Okay, which is and the thing about Typhon, and he was the most powerful. He was more powerful than Zeus. He was more powerful than Zeus. Zeus had to have help. You see, Typhon whooped Zeus, and you understand, beat him up bad. And it was, I believe, Pan and Hermes that saved Zeus, but Typhon had whooped Zeus, and so Typhon was of the Titans. You see, he was of the Titans. And so understandably that Typhon was compared to Set Typhon. Okay, so it's showing you that these giants, now they are giants. I'm not talking about no damn, you got tall Africans today like Manu Bowl and all that, but not only were they tall in stature, they were tall in wisdom and in knowledge. You see, and they were of great height also. And you can go and see that today. And I showed that on, that there were, just like there were Twa all over Africa. They've been hunted down. They've been hunted down. You see, and the numbers have dwindled to, very small numbers. So, so when you start talking about, you got the Nephilim, you got the Titans, you got the Anakim, and this is, the Philistine, and you got what's his name? Goliath. Goliath was of the lineage of ancient Egypt. Did y'all know that? The Philistine came out of Egypt, one of Egypt's son, Caphtharim. Okay, Caphtharim. So the Philistine were the grandchildren of ancient Egypt, but you rooted for David. You see, and then you got the ones they call the Zuzim. And so when you see that normally when you see that I am at the end of any word, normally it's going to depict either a giant or an angel, something of divine origin, like the seraphim or the cherubim. These are levels of angels, orders of angels. So the seraphim, the fiery serpent, again, it relates to the serpent. And this is the same serpent that you see on the pineal gland of the Pharaoh, okay, of the Pharaoh. And so, when you start to hear about the giants, they talking about African people. And when you get to hear them talking about the Nephilim, the children of the watchers, they talking about African. This is esoterical language. They're not talking about when you start talking about the lesser gods. You see, you talking about Zeus, you talking about Hera. Those are the lesser gods. They came after. When you start dealing with the Titan, they're like primordial elements. They're primordial elements. The Greek gods are not primordial elements. When you start talking about Helios, see, then the gods, you get the Greek gods, which they are watered down version of the Titans. You see, you get Apollo, but Helios was before Apollo. And then you got Oceanus, who was there before Neptune and Poseidon. Oceanus was before, but he's like the cosmic ocean. You see, so when you start, then that just lets you know how more ancient the Titans is. You see, and even when the so-called Israelites came into Egypt, they speak of these giants that were in the land, but they in Africa now. If you go into certain areas like the Watusi and all of that, I mean, they damn near on average above 7 feet. You see, they're on average, they're above 7 feet. So, again, they've been hunted down. A lot of them been hunted down, and they talk about hunting them down. Even in the Bible, they speak about hunting down the giants. And so we don't want you to believe. Nah, if you think, it's 8 feet ain't nothing. People have reached 8 feet on the planet. So you imagine back then that you probably could see people 10 feet tall. That's not something that's impossible. It's not impossible to see people 10 feet tall. That's like most animals that you see out here today have been hunted down to a smaller version of itself. There was lions out here. Listen, there was lions out here that were the size of where tigers is today. Its size, weighing 700-800 pounds, but they hunted the lion down. You see, elephants. You see, the elephant is much smaller than what it is today. They say when they first went to Africa, man, them elephants had damn tusks that was over 12 feet long. You see, 12, and some today may get up to a nice size, but they probably were at least, 2 and 3 and 4 tons heavier than what they is today. That's a lot of weight. You see, they've been hunted down. You can look and see how they didn't kind of shit. Everything is an endangered species. So they hunted a lot of these, but what's clear is that they were spoken of to be the children of heaven, that they were of a divine origin. The Nephilim was of a divine origin. The Watchers was of a divine origin. And the Bible clearly states that these children of Egypt were the remnants of the Nephilim, which is of direct lineage to heaven, that they were descended and were descendant of the heavens. So this is the same as the avatar, which we're going to speak on. That means that, the consciousness descended from heaven in the manifestation of a physical form of an African. You see, how we look. You see, you can't come down looking like some other than. And so that's why I say when you speak of the avatar, fire, water, earth, and wind. And some people add metal in there, that the Chinese add the metal in there. But, and so that we master all the elements, air, new, fire, which was Ra, Geb, which is the earth, and wind, which is Shu. You see, we master all the elements, but it's far more elements than that. You see, it's far more elements than that, because you got to add the cosmic, you got to add cosmic melanin, which is another segment that created everything. All that come about the cosmic melanin. You wouldn't have none of it if it weren't for cosmic melanin. So that is the primal material, the material of creation of everything that's in existence. You see, but as we move forward, I'm just breaking my notes out. I'm gonna break this down further. So when you start watching a lot of the architecture, and it's gonna come to you, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it synchronized across all the Kushite civilizations. You're gonna see, you go to Saqqara, you look up when you come into the pyramid field, the wall, you're gonna go through it's a wall going around the pyramid field. And when you come through, is a colonnade, the oldest colonnade in the world. And when you come out of that colonnade, you'll look up and you will see the serpents on top of the roof. You go over in especially in the east, you will see them serpents coming down the sides of the roof. They coming down from heaven. You see, when you look at the serpent on the Pharaoh's crown, you will see the tail he's coming down from heaven. It's symbolic of cosmic frequency and energy. It's a symbol of God. And so it is also a symbol of the divine primordial black people of creation. Once you start tapping in that, when you go across this globe, you're going to see that that's in sync. I got to get that damn word. I'm so sick of that shit. Centricity, sync. God damn it, I ain't gonna even say it no more. I'm gonna practice that goddamn word. You see what I'm saying? Y'all put it in there for me. Ether. Well, I guess you could call it ether. But ether is like spirit. Yeah, that's the comedic. Yeah, it synchronization, but it's rooted in that. It's synchronization, but it's rooted in that. It's not that exact word, but you hit it. You understand? But that sync, yeah, I'm gonna get it. It's a different version of that. You see, but I'm gonna practice it anyway. But anyway, family, I'm gonna tap in with you on that. We'll get back. There you go. Synchronicity. See, when I see it, I could say it. Synchronicity. There it is. See, that's the thing. Sometimes you had to see it. Synchronicity. That's it. That's it. I had to see it. Equator put it in there. Synchronicity. That's it. That's it. He put it in there. Good. Well, let's move on, family. We got a couple more we want to tap into. All right. Don't leave me. We still out here. Make sure y'all get over to Patreon, support the general. We got some fire over there. We starting to pull out the visuals. I'm just getting it all together, family. I appreciate y'all being here. Black Power.